Now at 10, authorities in Aurora, Missouri investigate the death of a couple. Plus, Pittsburgh sees an increase in calls about political sign thefts during the campaign season. And Joplin's American Post Legion 13 honors Flag Day today with a ceremony.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Authorities tonight have stopped their search for a missing man at the Grand Falls in Joplin. This is KOAM News at 10. The search began shortly before 5 this afternoon. Authorities received a report that a man went over the falls and did not resurface. Reddings Mill and Neosho Water Rescue provided support in that area. And further downstream, Galena, Kansas Water Rescue entered the water near Shimmerhorn Park in Cherokee County. Joplin Fire Deputy Chief Andy Nemo says they've called off the search for the night because the water is swift and dangerous. They ask everyone to avoid the area. The search will resume in the morning under the direction of the Missouri State Highway Patrol. We have a late-breaking story. The Berry County, Missouri Sheriff's Department has just reported that authorities have captured Lance Stevens, the last of 3 men who broke out of the Berry County Jail earlier this month. He was captured in San Antonio, Texas. Authorities have previously captured the other 2 escapees. Christopher Blevins was caught near Casper, Wyoming. Matthew Crawford was found in Springfield, Missouri. Police in Aurora, Missouri are investigating the death of a couple. The police chief says a neighbor got a call asking him to call 911 for help. When officers arrived at the home in the 1642 Oak Drive area, they found the man and woman both dead from gunshot wounds. Police say there is no threat to the public. Let's check in with Nick Kelly for a first look at the weather.
It has been a quiet day once again, Dal, but another hot day for most of us. But at least we cut back on the humidity a little bit. It's baby steps, sure, but we'll certainly take it, considering how we went from 80 from a warm and muggy start this morning, and this time only to 91 degrees this afternoon. Looking at the bigger picture, though, as I take you to the maps, there is a new heat advisory that will go out tomorrow until 8 o'clock in the evening for Lynn and Bates County in our far northern areas. But you can see how we had thunderstorms developing across north central parts of Kansas. That's actually along our next cold front that these 2 upper level lows are trying to push closer to us. We won't deal with that until we go into tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. So it's another warm night with most of us right around 80. It feels like the mid 80s at the very least. I do expect us, though, to drop back to 77 for another warm start in the morning. And with that good breeze and partly sunny skies for tomorrow, Dow, I'm thinking lower 90s once again. We'll see who might cash in on some rain chances pretty soon here in a few.
See you then. Voters in Columbus, Kansas today decided to renew a half-cent sales tax. Helps fund emergency services, water and sewer drainage, and other things. That vote was 175 yes, 27 no. During campaign season, the Crawford County Sheriff's Department says they get an increase in theft and vandalism of political signs. KOAM's Jalen Banks has more.
This year, a constitutional amendment known as to value them both will be on the ballot during the Kansas primary election in August. If passed, the state would have no constitutional right to abortion, allowing lawmakers to pass restrictive abortion measures. In Pittsburgh, supporters of both sides have gone about showing their support in the form of signs. Crawford County Sheriff Danny Smith says during campaign season they receive an increase in calls for sign theft and vandalism. He also says committing these acts could lead to consequences.
If you're going to steal a sign or deface it, and if you're looking at theft or criminal charges, you're going to get a court date just like you would anything else. You have to appear at court. And then, between the county attorney and the judges, they're going to decide at some point in time if you're going to get a fine or what goes along with the consequences of doing that. And it's really up to them how they decide to do that.
Laura Washburn, a Pittsburgh resident, has been a victim of the recent crimes, having lost hundreds due to thefts. She says the signs represent more than just a view on the vote.
Well, just as this whole issue on the ballot is about the Kansas Constitution, we all also really care about the United States Constitution, which guarantees us freedom of speech, and our political signs represent that freedom of speech. We want to open conversations with people.
In Pittsburgh, Jalen Banks, KOAM News.
Fines for theft could reach up to $2,500. Hey, be sure to download the KOAM News app for all your election needs. You can also go to our website for election information at koamnewsnow.com/elections. The website will include resources for all of the four-state areas, such as polling places, deadlines, dates. You can even check to see if you're registered to vote. Once again, KOAMnewsnow.com/elections. This is Flag Day, among other things. It's time to share how to properly replace an old weathered flag with a new one. And Joplin's American Legion Post 13 conducted a flag retirement ceremony at Memorial Hall today. People were invited to bring a retired U.S. or state flag for proper disposal.
It's the symbol of our country, and from a veteran's perspective, we all fought and served under that flag, and it means a great deal to us. So it's very important to us that it's shown the greatest amount of respect.
People should regularly inspect their American and state flags to determine if they need to be properly disposed. A new phone line will soon be available to anyone experiencing a mental health crisis. 988 will be the national three-digit phone number for all mental health, substance abuse, and suicide crises. All calls to this number will be routed to the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline centers in each state. Freeman's Ozark Center will be one of 200 call centers nationwide and says this is an easier, more convenient way for people to receive help.
If you don't know what else to do, people call 911. We're encouraging people to call 988 if you're having an emotional or a behavioral health crisis. That means you can be having stress, depression, insomnia, thoughts of self-harm, maybe substance use.
The Ozark Center will begin accepting 988 calls effective July 16th. 988 will not currently eliminate the old national hotline. Pittsburgh first responders host a mock accident demonstration for Leadership Academy students. Pittsburgh high school students discuss civic organizations and listen to community leaders. The fire department, police, sheriff, and ambulance departments play a key role in this program.
The idea is to get the students to understand what each of those agencies are responsible for and how they work together as a team in order to make sure that we are all safe as citizens.
Leadership Academy is a 16-day summer program centered on government and civic leadership. This program allows students to learn through real-life applications. Coming up, how gas prices are affecting the everyday lives of people in Missouri. And later, Carl Junction hosts a block party. We take a look at the festivities. As gas prices soar to nearly $5 a gallon, some Missouri drivers can't fill up their tanks. Madison Horner has more.
With skyrocketing gas prices, we're seeing more drivers stranded on the road because they don't have enough money to fill their tanks. Francie Hadabaugh lives in Branson and says the cost of a full tank of gas for her car has more than doubled. And it's not uncommon for her family to only put a small amount of gas in their car just to get by.
I find that we cut back on those things that we thought we had to have and run out to Walmart to get them. We find, no, that's too far to drive right now. We don't need it. And I talk to people that are doing this every day.
Hadabaugh also says it's sad to see what the rising costs are doing to people's summer plans.
I think it's going to have a large impact on people that have saved and budgeted for their vacation, who find out now that vacation that was a week is going to last them about 3 days.
Car services like AAA have seen around a 30% increase in calls for drivers stranded without gas. Nick Chabaria, a spokesperson for AAA, says while it can be tough to fill the tank right now, running out of gas can cause your vehicle to not function properly.
Some examples of parts that can get damaged is one, your fuel pump. That requires gasoline to be flowing through it in order for it to work properly, and that could be up to $1,000 to replace in some vehicles.
AAA recommends not letting your fuel gauge fall below a quarter tank. Chabaria says many people want to wait for prices to come down before they fill up, but experts haven't seen much of a drop in the last month.
Even by waiting a day or two to fill up your tank, you're likely going to be spending more than if you got gas when you needed it.
Southwest Missouri has the cheapest average gas prices in the state, averaging a total of $4.56. Missouri Governor Mike Parson signed a bill today on property rights. The legislation deals with the seizure of private land for public projects. The measure will require farm owners to be paid at least 150% of market value if their properties are taken through eminent domain. The law applies only to new projects. It means it won't affect plans for a large wind energy power line called the Grain Belt Express. A little bit later, advice on how to cool down after suffering from heat exhaustion.
And I'm tracking at least some rain chances over the next few days. We'll see if it can cool us down at all coming up. It was nice that we kept quiet once again for today, but some subtle changes to our weather setup have actually made today a little more tolerable, if only a little, compared to the past few days. First and foremost, can't deny it looks nice still from Indigo Sky Casino and Resort outside of Seneca, Missouri. Now today, we did not have to go into the mid-90s like we saw the other day. Granted, we had to start warm and kind of muggy again, right around 80 degrees, but with a good south breeze gusting close to 30, if not a little above that at times throughout the day, mixed up the sun's rays, and that meant we could only take advantage of the sun and not to get us into the lower 90s. It's baby steps, but we'll certainly take it compared to the mid-90s we've seen over the past few days for afternoon highs. Plus, dry air upstairs was mixing down throughout the course of the day, so that cut back on the humidity a little bit. So a lot of us did not have to deal with heat advisories today, but for our very far northern areas like Lynn and Bates County, closer to Kansas City, it's still going to be warm and muggy tonight and hot and humid enough tomorrow with heat indices up there pushing back over triple digits, so that's going back into effect until 8 o'clock Wednesday evening. Right now, though, 7th and Range line here, warm and muggy, but thankfully at least not too terribly muggy. It's 81 in Joplin, feels like 84 with that dew point sitting in the upper 60s. Most of us are hovering right around 80 degrees, but you factor in those dew points, it still feels like the mid 80s across much of the area. But I do expect us to drop back into the upper 70s tonight while we stay quiet. It got a little bit active, though, to the west, especially west of Salina and between Colby, Kansas and north central Kansas. That's where we had some isolated potent thunderstorms get going. That's hinting at our next cold front. That's going to try to change things up a little bit for some over the next day and a half. That cold front trying to come at us with a couple upper level lows, pushing that frontal boundary close to us for the next few days. But you'll see overall in the extended forecast, this upper level high is going to win out, and it'll definitely make it feel like summer going into the extended forecast. But at least for tonight, we could keep things dry, if I can speak correctly. We will see partly cloudy skies take over during the overnight, but we'll stay dry. Lows dropping back into the upper 70s. And we're dry throughout much of the day tomorrow. Couple that with that south wind back in action at 10 to 20 gusts near 30. That'll take us from 77 in the morning, 87 by noon, highs near 91. It could feel like the mid to maybe some upper 90s with the little bit of humidity that we'll have in place for tomorrow. But more humidity will get pulled in from the south along the approaching cold front. You can see how it wants to spark some isolated storms, trying to clip our northern counties as we go into late Wednesday evening, Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. But the front doesn't sweep on through. In fact, it stays to the north and we stay hot with highs back close to the mid-90s, and it could certainly feel like the triple digits once again by the time we go into Thursday. Plan on staying hot though in the extended forecast because this upper level high remains in control. I do want to point out though, a weakness in the ridge for Saturday could allow for some more isolated storms to sneak in late Saturday afternoon into Saturday night, but it again won't scrub out the heat or the humidity. 91 tomorrow, 93 Thursday, 94 Friday. We'll stay mainly in the lower to middle 90s throughout much of early next week now, but hopefully by the time we hit Sunday morning, we can get rid of some of this humidity to at least drop us back into the 70s, lower 70s by that point.
That'll be welcome relief.
Yeah, a little relief during the night could certainly help.
You bet. Thanks, Nick. In this intense heat, it's important to protect ourselves from heat exhaustion. Symptoms that can include heavy sweating, cold, pale, clammy skin, muscle cramps. An expert with Freeman Health System says you should get medical help right away if there's vomiting, if symptoms get worse or last longer than an hour, or if confusion develops.
So the biggest thing to do if you start experiencing any of those symptoms would be to try and get out of the environment that you're in. So either get out of the direct sunlight, or if you can, get into somewhere that is cool, that has some cooler air. Typically, before you have to come to the hospital, if you can drink sips of water or try and cool yourself off, that would be the best thing to do.
You can find a list of area cooling centers on our website. That's KOAMnewsnow.com. If your signal of KOAM or Fox 14 gets kind of glitchy this week, well, that is a sign of progress. We're going to be broadcasting from a lower temporary antenna for a little while a crew installs a new, more technically advanced antenna at the very top of this great big tower. It's the final step in our More Power project. It's going to allow some viewers who previously lost our signal to get us again. If all goes according to plan, we're going to be back up and stronger than ever by the end of June. Jacob here now with sports. Pair of McDonald County baseball players make program history.
Levi Helm and Cole Martin become the first Mustang teammates to earn all-state honors at the same time. We'll talk about that. And Missouri Southern softball hits the field for their annual Little Lions camp. We'll have that and more after this. The Joplin Outlaws hit the road tonight for a Mink League South Division matchup with the Nevada Griffins. Now the Outlaws are trying to get back to 500 tonight, sitting at 4-5 overall. Tonight's game is the third meeting between these two teams so far this season. The Griffins have won the first two. Right now in tonight's game, Joplin is clinging to a 6-5 lead in the bottom of the ninth. Sam Fagan is 1 for 4 for the Outlaws with a 2-run double. The Missouri High School Baseball Coaches Association released its all-state teams on Monday. McDonald County pitcher Levi Helm and catcher Cole Martin were both named first-team all-state in Class 5. Helm and Martin are the first two McDonald County teammates ever to be named all-state in the same season.
I was hoping I'd get it, but I was just more happy that Helm got it because after the year he had last year, I mean, he's deserved it. I mean, he's a good ball player.
It's something that I worked really hard for. Just ever since my freshman year, I kind of had a goal of doing my best to get that accomplishment. And my senior year, I finally got it done, and all the hard work ended up paying off. We probably had one of the best defensive teams in the whole state, and I had full confidence in my defense.
Those guys were always ready to play. They wanted to play in big games. They were never nervous about it. And you know, the all-state thing it's awesome, but there's a lot more in store for them as well as they continue their career.
You can check out our full story with Helm and Martin, as well as a full list of local all-state players on the sports page at KOAMnewsnow.com. To the major leagues now, game one of a doubleheader here today between the Cardinals and Pirates. Picking it up, bottom third, Paul Goldschmidt. Big swing here to center field. 2-run jack. Makes it 2-0 home team. Then in the sixth, got a little history here on the pop-up in foul territory. Yadier Molina there for the catch. With that, Molina gets to 14,865 putouts as a catcher. It's the most in Major League history. On to the ninth, Cardinals up 2, and they would close it out. Dylan Carlson there to snag the liner. St. Louis takes game one from Pittsburgh 3-1. Now in game two, Cardinals win at 9-1, but that's not the story. Miles Michaelis was so close to a no-hitter, man. It was brutal. Gave up a hit with 2 outs in the ninth inning before being pulled after 129 pitches. So in the end, he goes 8 2/3, allowing just 1 run and 1 hit while striking out 6. As for the Kansas City Royals, they're on the road tonight for game 2 of their series against the San Francisco Giants. The Royals trying to even the series and avoid a 4th straight loss after dropping the series opener last night. Right now, that game is still scoreless in the top of the 6th. Missouri Southern softball hosts its annual Little Lions camp this evening in Joplin. It's a chance for local youth softball players to learn from some of the best, and a chance for the Southern players to give back to some of their young fans.
Here we go! Atta girl! Good!
Got a gold glover here, folks.
Yes!
Seeing this camp specifically grow throughout the 4 years that I've been here is really exciting. I think the local coaches around here are really getting softball going, and it's exciting to be a part of it.
Nice. Good spin. It's continuing to grow, and it's just awesome to see because I love this game, and it's always good to, you know, give back to the community, especially work with little girls. Good. Atta girl.
I think our student athletes are amazing, and it's fun to watch our kids work with them.
Let's see your best walk up. Oh yes, got the bat flip. Here we go, Chloe.
Hoping they get the fundamentals and just have a good time.
Look at your feet right now. So if I draw a line, where's that pointing to?
I think anytime you have to teach a skill, it's a different perspective. So I think that helps them in return be a better player as well.
Nice job. Good work, Kai. Switch.
I just hope they know that they can have fun with the game, because I know this game can be mentally tough.
Good hustle, good hustle.
I just want them to know, like, it's okay to fail, because half this game is, you know, failing. So just have fun with it, enjoy what you can do, and, you know, just learn from it.
That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Take time now to honor a member of the armed forces. Derek Umbarger joined the U.S. Marine Corps in 2006. His hometown, Thayer, Kansas, and we salute Lance Corporal Derek Umbarger, a four-state hero. When you have a block party in Carl Junction, you call it a Bulldog Block Party. People there had the chance to enjoy CJ's Second Tuesday event tonight on Main Street. There were food trucks, business booths, water balloons, popsicles, live music, and a whole lot of other fun things.
Brings people to Carl Junction, that maybe don't live here, but I think there's also this sense of community. Carl Junction has a great community, and everyone, a lot of families, so something to do downtown, whether it be bounce houses for the kids, family fun, games.
The national champion Carl Junction Elementary archery team sold raffle tickets. They accepted donations for their world competition. Well, it wasn't raining for that block party. It was pretty warm out there, though.
Yeah, and it's going to stay hot for the foreseeable future, even with some isolated storm chances late tomorrow evening, tomorrow night, and Thursday morning. Otherwise, we'll see highs back near 91 tomorrow, 93 on Thursday.
Final sports note.
Don't forget, go to our sports page, KOAMnewsnow.com. Check out our full story with Levi Helm and Cole Martin, two outstanding baseball players from McDonald County.
Very good. Thanks for joining us. We're going to leave you tonight with more video of the Second Tuesday festivities in CJ. Let's make it a great tomorrow.